Hello, it is the 23rd of April, not May yet, and we are, this is an update video for Archaeology Rush, and we're about to crack on with what I've updated in the last 7 days, which is a fair bit. But first of all, I just want to say that in the previous video I said that I hope to get the demo 2 out on the week of the 5th of May, but I think that's probably looking like more like the 19th now. There's a couple of things that I can't always spend as much time as I want, and Easter I was away with family, which meant I didn't work on the game that much. That being said, I have some things to show you. So the first thing is, you'll notice I've just done a little bit of work, a lot of just prototype work, just to kind of work out basically how I want the sea to look and the map to look. I'm still kind of working some of it out, but yeah, so we're getting there. And then the next thing is I've added this. Well, this does not look like much because I haven't done any of the artwork for it, and I don't know whether I'll get round to the artwork this week, because I'm kind of just, there's so many things to do. I've literally got a wheel of all the things that I need to do, and I spin it, and then I work on that for a little bit, in like a half an hour, 40-minute chunk, and then I sort of handle that little chunk in that time, see where I can get on that, and then move on to the next thing. But yeah, working on the world map was one of them this week, and also adding these things which are diggable locations. Currently they don't look like they're diggable, but they are digs. This is a dig site. This is not a dig site. This is not a dig site, but this is a dig site. What I just want to show before I show off the dig site is also just a little bit of improvement. So this is the style that I'm going for the letters. So I think that it works. I just need to finish doing the letters. This is, and then you've also got the envelope there. So yeah, and I just want to add in some animation. Again, I'll get round to that when I get round to it. Yeah, so right, let's show off the dig site. So at the moment, if I press X, you dig a couple of times and then you get to open up the tomb. I'll show that again just up here. Whoop. So dig a couple of times and then open up the tomb. Now come with some graphics and animation. So all the logic is there. Basically I had to intersect. So currently there's a thing called like a location 3D, and then there's a tomb location, and that handles all of the like sorting of hey, this is a tomb, and this needs to go into these levels, and this is the data associated with those levels, so that I can have like the cutscene test, and that has cutscene. I've got my test tomb, which is whenever I'm working on any particular tomb stuff, and I've got the every tomb, which is all of the tomb data that I have. So if I just want to jump in and play and work out what the bugs are and just have a little bit of a play around with everything, then I'll work on the every tomb. Yeah, so I had to basically create a derived class from the location, between the location and the tomb, which has tomb data, which was a diggable location, so that now I can make other diggable locations, because it is an archaeology game, and you will dig and something will happen. But it has the state of undug and dug, and so it will always show that little graphic, and then that state saves itself so that as you're playing you don't need to dig things up that have already been dug up. We're going to be working on save state a little bit more in the future, but at the moment that's sort of a start. But yeah, And then before I jump into the other last main bit of stuff that I've done, you notice that the waves, there are now waves down here. I've got 2 mice on my desk, one for my main PC and one for the PC that I use to record these. Yeah, so the waves, this is more, so as I said, I rolled on to kind of just improving the world map, and it's definitely something that I want to continue doing. Currently it just looks like a ton of sharks. But yeah, so I can't have these everywhere, so I need to work out exactly how I want this to look, how I want it to work. But I think taking from a jam game that I made quite a while back now with Ughhh, with a friend of mine, I'm actually wanting to kind of replicate a similar effect, and I'll sort of add little bits around the world map, and then I think I just might add a texture and a shader just to sort of add some other bits onto that. But yeah, I'm not that brilliant at shaders, and it's a rabbit hole that I could get into. So I might not get into that, but I'll see how things look. I'd like to have some kind of coastlines, but I might not be able to. It might be that I add in, yeah, we'll work it out. But these will probably be sparsely kind of put on the map, so that there's a little bit more motion on the ocean. Right, let's jump into, as you can probably guess, a town test. Right, so again, like Severance Season 2, just before we get to the main bit, I'm going to just divert on a different tangent and just show you also that I've just started playing around with the idea of a new shop thing. Just seeing how that looks. It's probably going to change visually, but yeah, so you'll be able to, the shop still works exactly the same, but as you hover over, there'll eventually be a little thing that kind of details what it is, what it does, if we know what it does, and then the price and how many you can buy. And that should help and be a little more interesting than the old system, which I felt was a bit cluttered. For the moment, let's just buy some jump. Right, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. Again, these still just show random stuff. Right, so this is the parkour map. So it is still, again, quite basic, but there is now a sort of, I wrote this level that basically just tries to create a parkour path for you to be able to. Oh, that is difficult. Oh, there we go. Have to use that creative term. But yes, it will make a path down to that. So then I'll jump over and we'll jump into the next room. And you'll see this time it's a different level. Whoop. And yeah, so the way that this works, right, let's jump down. So there is, right down here, a starting point, and then we've also got an end point up in the top right. Whoop. Right, so we've got an end point here. So this is the location we want to get to. This is the location we want to start. And it basically picks, it tries to trend upwards, like tries to make sure it goes upwards first. And then you have, it's trying to find, so we've got a starting point and it's trying to find a new point that it can then iterate upon, right? So we've got this starting point, and it picks a point, one of a possible point to the right, to the left, up to the left, and up to the right. So in this case, it picks up to the right. And then it will, from that point, as the center point, it will build out 2 tiles either way, if it is in the bounds of the kind of level. And then repeat. So up to the right, up to the right, up to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right. If for whatever reason we're in a position where, let's say, both of these have already been taken, and for some reason this is our point that we're checking. Yes, we can check right to left, and if they are taken or outside of the map and we can't use them, it can also then in that option choose to go down, and we see some of that generation. Just up here where you can see that it's gone down. And then lastly, just to add a little bit of variance, because you can kind of see this kind of offset pattern that it takes. Just to add some variance of like what we could possibly pick. The gap between can either be 3 or 2, or sorry, 2, 3 or 4. And that allows us to kind of just have a little bit of spacing. We want to keep, unfortunately we have to keep the standard height, because every player has to be able to make all of the jumps. So they have to always be able to get through. Let's upgrade our jump. So you're looking at jump height being a bonus, as in like, oh, so if I have this jump where I'm clearing, 5 blocks, well, that is just makes it easier to, if I had another upgrade, I might be able to skip one. So the aim, of course, so in a single player level, this sort of is a bit harder to properly, demonstrate. But the way in which I've envisaged this being played, I haven't play tested this myself, is imagine we all start and we're all on the start line, and then we jump up, and we're rushing to get as high as possible, and so we will then be in a position where we can. Well, there's a bug there because I haven't actually set the world bounds of the map correctly, so I suppose that ends the video. But yeah, we want to be able to move players. Players are going to race to the finish line, because of course the whole point of this game is to have the best collection, and the best collection is the person who discovers the whole of the tomb first, and they get rewarded more handsomely for that tomb. Right, it's actually a surprisingly long one because we had a lot to talk about. I can't remember if I spoke about it, but the other thing that I managed to get done is just started adding some Steam bindings, because of course this is going on Steam, and so we will start to get that, iterate that over the next few weeks and months. Brilliant, thank you for watching, have a wonderful week. I really feel like this is coming together. We just the last 5% is 95% of the effort, and we're in the last 5% now. But yeah, thanks for watching.